Hello students, today we are going to learn about the structure and function of mammalian heart. And the mammalian heart, it plays a very important role or vital role in the function or the systemic structures of all the physiological functions. So, here in the circulatory system, the heart is majorly functions for not only circulation, for the purpose of complete the blood circulation and the respiration, deoxygenation and oxygenated blood will be supplied throughout the body system, or not only that, in living things like plants, the resolving the oxygen, resolving the carbon dioxide and absorption of carbon dioxide as well as resolving the oxygen will be takes place in the plants also. So, here one interesting feature I want to explain about the heart. The facts which you might not be knowing this. Each day our heart will be beats 1 lakh times, and each minute our heart will be pumps 1.5 gallons of the blood. Here we can see the heart will be undergoes when the circumstances are not in a perfect way. The circumstances means the heart will not be functions in a proper way. The circulation, when the nutritional values are not in a proper, the circulation will not be takes place in the proper way. So, that the complete the person will be undergoes for the death. And here we can see the heart is consisting a dollar size of valve will be present. The valves are not in a small size, they will be in a particular size which will be we can see in a dollar size. And the largest heart we can see which has been recorded in worldwide records, it has been recorded the Gray valve. And so, here when we see the heart is located under the rib cage. The heart is located where the heart is located? When we see the heart is located under rib cage and between the two lungs. Between the two lungs, the size will be varies from person to person and based on the conditions, and the average heart is about the size of heart persons, which will be it is fist. The person's fist will be a particular heart will be present in every person. And when coming to the heart function, it will be the function of the heart. If you see roughly, the oxygenated blood will be pumped, which will be called as nutrient rich blood to the body through the blood vessels. Okay. There will be two different types of pumping will be takes place, oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. Whenever the oxygen will be absorbed from the atmospheric conditions into the blood vessel, the oxygenated, then the blood will be becomes oxygenated blood, and this oxygenated blood will be passes through the blood vessels, and this is called as oxygenated blood. And when all the cells will be discharging when oxygenated blood will be absorbed by the cells, the each and every cell will be discharging the carbon dioxide into the bloodstream, and this blood will be called as deoxygenated blood. When this blood is combined with the carbon dioxide, and it is called as deoxygenated blood, and this deoxygenated blood will be discharged outside of the environment and in the form of carbon dioxide that will be occurs in the animals. And coming to these animals are living things, and as well as if we see the plants are also living things, they will be respires, they will be respiring the carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen. So, this is the difference between the animals and plants. So, here when coming to the the structure of heart. Heart is a composition of 4 chambers. What are they? The heart chambers are called as auricles and ventricles. The auricles, it is consisting of 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. The left and right auricles will be called as right and left atrium as well, and it is called as right and left auricles. The ventricles, the right and left auricles are consisting, they will be consisting the small in size, they will be placed in the anterior region of the heart. In the anterior region of the heart, it is consisting a small sized 2 valves which are known as atrium, right atrium and left atrium, or it can be called as right auricle and left auricle. And beneath these two, it is consisting larger in size or bigger in size. These two are called as ventricles, right ventricle and left ventricle. So, here the auricles and ventricles will be between these two consisting, the left ventricle between these two, the synaptic valve will, the septum will be placed. This septum will be separating the 2 valves, the septum, the upper 2 chambers and the lower 2 chambers will be separated by the septum. The septum is consisting of, it is a cardiac, made up of with cardiac muscle, which will be divides the heart into right and left 2 halves, and this the lower chamber of the heart will be pumping the blood out of the heart, and which will be reaches to all the complete the systemic structures of the body, and upper 2 chambers of the heart will be receiving and collecting the blood from the various parts of the body. And these valves will be consisting of 4 different types. Here we can see all the valves. How many valves we can see? 4 valves. These 4 valves are connecting all the 4 passages, the 2 passages between the auricles and ventricles. The first one, the tricuspid valve. The tricuspid valve will be consisting between the auricle and ventricle, and the again we can see pulmonary semilunar valve, and on the left side we are able to see the pulmonary semilunar valve and bicuspid valve and aortic valve. These valves are helpful for the to protect the backflow of the blood. It will be able to prevent the backflow of the blood from the heart. What is the backflow? When the oxygenated blood have been entered into the ventricles, it again it has to be reached to all the parts of the body. So, here the complete blood must be entered into the each and every cell, but no, it should not be mixed up with the deoxygenated blood. For the reason here we are able to see the tricuspid valves, where after entering into the ventricle, the purified blood, when it enters into the auricle, from the auricle to ventricle, then the complete tricuspid valve will be closes the complete entire flow. The blood flow from the upper and lower body flows through the superior and inferior vena cava. The deoxygenated blood will be flows from the upper and lower body of the through the superior vena cava, and the inferior through the superior and the inferior vena cava. The deoxygenated blood will be flows. The deoxygenated blood, from where the deoxygenated blood will be collected? From all the parts of the different cells in over the body. In every part of the body, the vena cava, the deoxygenated blood, the superior and inferior vena cava will be collecting the blood. and the superior and inferior vena cava, it will be empty the right atrium, and the superior and inferior vena cava completely it empties the atrium. It empties the atrium and the blood will be flows into right atrium, passes through the tricuspid valve, and the blood will be passes through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, and here the blood passes through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle it passes through the pulmonary semilunar valve. So, this pulmonary semilunar valve, through the pulmonary semilunar valve, the blood will be supplied to all over the left pulmonary atrium, and from the left pulmonary atrium to left lungs, there the oxygenated blood will be supplied, and when the oxygen has been respired into the lungs, the entire blood will be becomes oxygenated blood, and then this blood will be supplied all over the body with the help of left pulmonary atrium. So, this left pulmonary atrium will be with the help of the semilunar valve into the with the help of semilunar valve, the right and the left pulmonary arteries flows the blood into the right and left pulmonary arteries. So, here you can see the right and left pulmonary arteries. These are the where the arrows have been produced, that is called as right and left pulmonary arteries, and into the right and left pulmonary arteries the blood will be flows, and this will be supplies all over the body, and our pulmonary arteries will be taking the blood to the lungs for gas exchange. So, here in the lungs we can see the exchange of gas. The exchange of gas is nothing but oxygen will be absorbed into the bloodstream, and the deoxygenated blood means which is when the oxygen will be absorbed, the carbon dioxide will be released outside. So, for the circulation the oxygen will be absorbed into the stream, as well as when the complete gas will the carbon dioxide in the form of the after production of energy and every after completion of the complete physiological activities, that will be produced in the form of carbon dioxide. The energy will be after releasing the energy, the rest of the waste material will be called as the carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide where it resides in each and every cell, that will be carbon dioxide will be resides. So, when the oxygenated blood will be reaching to the particular cell, from the cell the deoxygenated blood will be discharged out into the lungs. So, here the pulmonary arteries will be taking the blood to the lungs for the gas exchange. In the lung capillaries, blood will be picks up the oxygen and it transfers the carbon dioxide to the lungs for the exhalation. Through exhalation, how the carbon dioxide will be discharged out? All the carbon dioxide from the cells will be collected from the capillary. Through the capillaries, the carbon dioxide will be collected and they will be reached to the lungs. After reaching to the lungs, how it will be released outside? Through the nostrils. So, here we can see the respiratory tract, it is consisting, the respiratory tract is connected with the nares, and these nares are connected to the nostrils, and nostrils will be exposed outside into the environment, and through these nares or nostrils, the lungs will be undergoes for exhalation. This exhalation is nothing but the releasing of carbon dioxide into the atmospheric condition. When this carbon dioxide is released, the blood will becomes oxygenated. This is the process of the formation of oxygenated blood. So, here after completion of the oxygenated blood, the right and left pulmonary veins bring the blood back to the heart from all the parts of the body. The pulmonary veins will be empties the blood into the left atrium, and the blood from the left atrium flows through the mitral valve, or this mitral valve can be called as bicuspid. Why it is called as bicuspid? Because it is consisting two cusps. Two cusps means it is like lid like structures which will be protects the valve, to protect the valve from the flow, outside flow. The backside flow will be protected by these valves, and these two valves together it forms a lid like structure, so that the blood cannot be moved upward or backward. So, here we can see the blood from the left atrium flows through the mitral valve or bicuspid valve into the left ventricle. When it enters into the, after passing through the left ventricle, the blood from the left ventricle, it will be passes through the aortic semilunar valve. Here also we can see another valve which is called as aortic semilunar valve, and after passing through the aortic semilunar valve, the blood enters into the aorta, and then it is pumps to the rest of the body. Pulmonary circuit movement of the blood from the heart to the lungs and back to the heart. What is the pulmonary circuit? Pulmonary circuit is nothing but the movement of the blood from the heart. From the heart, the complete blood will be moves to the lungs, the oxygenated blood will be moves to the lungs, and again when the entire blood will be oxygenated. Right now I have explained you about how the blood will be oxygenated. It discharges the carbon dioxide into the environment through the nostrils or nasals, and then the entire blood will becomes oxygenated blood. Then this blood will be again, it will be pumped into the, again it will be back into the heart, and when it will be enters into the heart, the systemic circulation will be takes place. Here the circulation can be defined into two ways. One is pulmonary circuit and the other one is systemic circulation. In pulmonary circulation, the blood will be moves from lungs to heart, and in systemic circulation from the heart to the rest of the back to the body cells. So, here this is only the flow of the blood, how the blood will be flows from one place to another place we are able to see. So, the left side of the heart is larger than the right side. So, the left side has the blood flow will be takes place further, and when the contractions, here we can see the contractions will be takes place with the help of the systolic, the Purkinje, the synovial nodes. With the help of this is called as electrical systemic structure or electrical systemic function of the heart. So, first what we have seen? First we have studied about the structure of heart. In the structure of heart, it is consisting 4 chambers, atrium and ventricle, 2 atriums, right and left atrium, right and left ventricle. Then coming to the how the blood will be oxygenated and how it will be pumped from one place to another place, that we have seen. How the blood will be purified and how the carbon dioxide will be resolves into the environment, that we have seen. So, when the heart will be beating, the contractions and expansions must be takes place. So, this contraction and expansions will be takes place with the help of Purkinje syvinal nodes and bundle of His. So, here we can see in the heart there is between these two valves it is consisting sinoatrial node will be present. Here we are able to see two different nodes, one is sinoatrial node and atrioventricular node. Sinoatrial node will be functions for the systole and atrioventricular node will be functions for diastole. So, we are able to hear the voice or we are able to hear the sound of heart in the form of lub dub. So, here it will be formed with the conduction of systems, cardiac conduction system. So, this cardiac conduction system is nothing but electrical systemic function of the heart, and this systemic function will be consist of three different parts, that is sinoatrial node and the atrioventricular node and the bundle of His. And in this bundle of His, it is consisting Purkinje fibers also. So, at the sinoatrial node, the function of the heart will be starts. The electric rhythmatic movement will be starts from sinoauricular node and it travels through the atrioventricular node. It travels through the sinoauricular, through the sinoauricles, and it ends at the atrioventricular node. And in this, the bundle of His and Purkinje fibers will be helpful for the completion of the complete this systemic structure. The electrical signals will be starts from sinoauricular node as blood fills in the right atrium. This signals will be causes by the atrium for the contraction of heart. Contraction, how the contraction will be takes place, because it is consisting the cardiac muscles are myogenical, it is called as myogenic cardiac muscle, and these myogenic cardiac muscles will be consisting of a beautiful character where they are undergo for contraction and expansion. So, here when the signals will be causes to the atrium, that the particular atrium, right atrium have been filled with the blood. So, when these signals have been received by the sinoauricular node, the sinoauricular node will be is able to fill the blood from the right atrium, and the signal will be causes to the atrium, and the sinoauricular node will be sets the pace of the heart, and it also it will be undergoes for contraction. So, this pace, the pace is called as the pacemaker also, this pace is called as pacemaker also, and the signals which are arrives from the atrial ventricular node, the signals when released from the atrioventricular node, it moves along the bundle of His and along the walls of the ventricles, and when these signals will be passing through the bundles of His, and it will be divides into the both the sides, right and left bundle of His will be present on the both the sides of ventricles, and this bundle of His, when this movement or the movement will be passes through the till up to the signals will be passing through the bundle of His, it will be passes along the ventricle walls. The bundle of His moves along the ventricles. When these signals will be passed the ventricle through the bundle of His, it will be, we can see the bundle of His is able to divisible into two parts, which will be pass it on to the right and left branches of the ventricles, and when these right and left branches of the ventricles are consisting the Purkinje fibers. These Purkinje fibers are they will be receiving the signals from the bundle of His, and when they receiving the signals from the bundle of His, the two ventricles will undergoes for a little bit contraction, and when the signals passes to the when these signals will be passing to the Purkinje fibers, the Purkinje fibers will be activates the ventricles, and these ventricles will be undergoes for contraction. And when the signals will be passing from the articuloventricular node to the bundle of His, and again the signals will be passing to the Purkinje fibers, that already you have been undergone for contraction and blood have been flowed into the pulmonary veins. When the blood, oxygenated blood will be flows into the pulmonary vein, what happens here? Again the signals will be passes from the through the bundle of His to the Purkinje fiber. When bundle of the His will be passes these signals to the Purkinje fiber, the ventricles will be relaxed, the complete ventricles will be relaxed. So, here we can see the systole and the relaxation and contraction. When the contraction takes place, and when the contraction will be takes place from savinal auricle node, and when the relaxation will be takes place from the with the help of auriculoventricular node, the relaxation and the contraction is called as diastole and systole. The blood, the entire blood, when it is pumping out of the ventricle, it is called as diastole. At that time it is able to form a sound which is able to undergo as lub, and lub dub. When the blood, the entire purified blood will be pumping into all the parts of the body, it will be forms a lub sound, and when it forms it relaxes, when the complete the Purkinje nodes, when the signals will be passes to with the help of through the His bundle of His to Purkinje fiber, the auricular node will be relaxes completely, it relaxes, when ventricles will be relaxed. When they comes under the relaxed condition, it forms again one more sound which is called as dub. So, here the heart is able to undergo for two different sounds, that is called as lub and dub. With all these sounds, the complete we are able to know whether the heart is functioning in proper or not, and each time for each second this lub down sound must be given for 70 times. Then that particularly we can say that particular heart is functioning in proper. When the heart is unable to undergo for 70 times of beating, we can say that it is consisting congestion in heart, or it is consisting congestion of heart failure because of nutritional the deficiency of, maybe it is a deficiency of nutrition, or maybe it is deficiency of heart functioning. The congestion of heart failure and myocardial infrastructure and atrial fibrillation will be takes place. So, here the structure of heart will be the entire structure, with the 4 chambers, the blood is able to flow through the atrium. The atrium will be collecting the impure blood, and the ventricle will be pumping the pure blood. It will be passes through the lungs, and from in the lungs the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood will be formed, and the deoxygenated blood will be expels out into the environment, and oxygenated blood will be supplied to the different parts of the body for the circulation and for the undergo for the metabolic activity to produce the energy. This is what we have learnt about the circulation in the about through the heart, mammalian heart structure and function, and its electrical movement. Thank you.